everyone, my name is Melissa Reiner. I am the U.S. Figure Skating National Stars Program Coordinator, and I am a strength and conditioning specialist. And before that, I was a skating coach and also a skater. I am here today to give you guys some at-home workouts that you can do anytime to help build your athleticism. The goal for this program is to really help build a strong foundation for your training. A good example of that is right now I'm living in a neighborhood where they're building a lot of new houses. And before they put on the brick or paint the house or put in the granite countertops, they first bring a big truck and they pour a solid concrete foundation to support the house that's going to be built there. And that is us as athletes. We need to have a really solid, strong foundation to help support not only our skating development, but just our strength development. That's going to help with our overall skills and performance. So today we're going to start with core strength and stability. So again, that is our concrete foundation. Our core is going to help support the rest of the parts of our body as we increase in strength, and then power, speed, agility, etc. So I hope you enjoy the first workout.
Round 1. These exercises are all about building that foundation, so there's not going to be much movement here. The first one is a 90-90 hold. Lying on your back, you're going to bend your hips and your knees to 90 degrees, with the knees directly over the hips. Pressing that belly button down into the mat, you're going to take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, pushing through that diaphragm and holding that position. What you're going to concentrate on here is the breathing through this exercise. So instead of counting repetitions, you're counting breaths. We are now going to take that same concept and now go into a quadruped position. So starting on your hands and knees, wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. You're going to push up onto your toes so your knees are no longer on the ground in a hovering quadruped position. What you're focusing on here is perfect form. Shoulder blades are pulled back, spine is nice and neutral, hips are neutral, belly button's pulled in. Again, you're going to be connecting with your breath, taking a deep breath in and out, holding it for 8 long breaths. Next, return to the back in that 99 position, going into heel taps. So you're now going to be slowly lowering one heel down to the ground, alternating. While doing so, again, focus on the core. Is the spine nice and flat into the mat? Are your hips neutral? Are your hips square? Take your time and exhale each time you lower a heel, completing 20 repetitions on each leg. Moving back to the hands and knees, we're going to do some alternating bird dogs. These are all about core stability. Now, these are very easy to do incorrectly and can be quite challenging when done perfectly. So again, focusing on keeping the hips and shoulders square, the hips neutral. You're going to extend one arm in the opposite leg so they become parallel with the back. Hold that extended position for at least 1 to 2 seconds before returning back to the quadruped. Imagine if you had a glass of water balancing on your back and you don't want that water to spill throughout the exercise. Also, make sure that the arm and leg are shooting out straight forward as if they were lining up with an invisible line underneath you. Returning to that 90-90 position, we're now going to do an alternating 90-90 where we're slowly going to lower one leg down towards the ground, alternating from side to side. While doing this, keep your hip bones even on the mat. So only go as far as you can without lifting that opposite hip. Again, bracing the core, pressing it down into that mat, slowly going from one side to the next. We're next going to do a similar movement pattern, but starting on our hands and knees into what's known as a fire hydrant. So again, setting those knees right underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders, and keeping that hip nice and neutral, you're going to lift your knee up into the side. Remember, you're just working mobility within the hip joint, not turning the whole hip out. So the knee will lift up, pause, squeeze the muscles, and then return back to the starting position. Complete 20 reps on the first side before starting the second side. That wraps up round number 1, meaning you need to only do those exercises one time today. As we go into round number 2, you're going to be completing all of these exercises twice in a circuit pattern. First, we're going to start with a V-sit hold. So on your sit bones, you're going to lean back so your chest is still lifted, back's nice and flat, core is engaged. You can start with your knees bent and then extend your legs out into a full V position. Find whichever version works best for you for a 30-second hold. From there, we're going to go to a high plank position on the wrists and toes and do a high plank knee to elbow. We're going to start by internally rotating the hip, bringing the knee across the body to the opposite elbow, and then resetting the position with square hips and shoulders with the leg extended. Complete 20 repetitions on one side before going to the other. We'll do a similar pattern on our sit bones with a slow bicycle. So starting in that V-sit position we just warmed up, you're going to rotate your upper body, bringing one elbow to the opposite knee, pausing at the top before slowly getting back into that full V position, completing 20 reps on each side for a total of 40. Next, get right back into that high plank position, and this time we're going to focus on stabilizing more in the upper body, as we're going to do a lateral raise, going from one arm to the next, lifting that arm up so it's level with the shoulders. Again, focus on keeping that back nice and still, shoulders and hips square, everything nice and tight and engaged as you lift that arm up, pausing at the top, coming back down to the full plank position before alternating to the other side. Finishing off, let's give our obliques some love with just a nice basic side plank. So starting with your wrist directly underneath your shoulder and your feet stacked, go ahead and press up into a nice side bridge, engaging the core, making sure those glutes are squeezed for a nice 45 seconds. We'll finish off the workout today with a nice balance challenge, as balance is an integral part of our sport. So first, engaging that core, making sure those hips are nice and neutral, everything's turned on. We're going to go into a nice single leg balance with your free foot next to you, hands on your hips. We're simply going to hold this position for 60 seconds on each foot to start for today. Don't worry, there are many variations coming your way. This single leg balance challenge can be done with your shoes on or off for the first workout. This wraps up the first core stability workout. Don't worry, there's many more variations coming your way. So I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon.